Yay, I think we're live. It looks like we're live. Gonna give it a couple minutes for everybody to get in. Let me grab one thing here. Hi, Louise. There's Miss Pamela. Hey, Marianne. All right, let's play the intro, guys, and I will go ahead and we'll get started. Okay, so just a little update, guys. I know that we were supposed to do this live last week, but life happened here at my house and still happening. So I was not able to go live, and I've had just tons of stuff coming out of the woodworks that I've had to handle. So I thought I would go and just move it to tonight for you guys, and we would cover a few things. Now, I did put out a file for you guys who are supporters. It is on the Crafting with April site. It is a card base. Let's just go overhead. Now, on this, I did use Cricut cardstocks. But I also use, this is like a denim with paper backing on it. And I got this, it's made by We Are Memory Keepers. And I got it at Joann's over, it's like in a paper stack. They have one that's in cork and one that's in denim. So I just used that and just some cardstock, paper cardstocks. You can do print and cuts, which we're going to cover tonight. And then I used some of my scraps from my Cricut wood veneers. I had a pack of all three colors, and I had these little scraps, and that's what I used them for. And then I just used a different pattern paper here that would match everything. So super easy card. All you're going to do is just stack everything up and glue it together, and then I just added a wooden button. So super easy and super simple card, but everything's already measured out, ready to cut, ready to go. I will say I cut this. Now you can cut this on your maker if you want, but because my scraps were so tiny, I just trimmed them down on my Cricut trimmer. Your Cricut trimmer will cut it. So if you've got tiny scraps and you want to do that, you can. If you have bigger sheets, then yes, cut it on your maker. It will cut perfectly fine either way. Okay? So that was for that, and of course add your own sentiments and everything. Yes, it is a great masculine card, Jamie. I struggle with masculine cards, so he's a trim carpenter by trade, so I really struggle with that, and he's always wearing jeans and a plaid shirt, so I'm like, let me pull those elements in to make a card. So that's how this little guy was born. So, I mean, I know my creativity sometimes just comes out of wild imagination places, but I just started thinking about him and not everything, and some of the things that he did, but, you know, what do people notice about him? And that's what I threw into it. So, I know that our splash screen is all about sticker making. But along with sticker making comes print and cut, guys. Print and cut is a huge part of learning your Cricut, and it is going to expand the things that you can do with your Cricut. If you just stick to vinyl and you just stick to iron-on, there's nothing wrong with that, or if you just stick to cardstock. But somewhere along the line, you're going to run into a project that you want to do, and you're not going to be able to get around doing it using print and cut. So I wanted to cover, and we're going to go over and cover how to do your print and cuts and how to lay them out in Design Space rather than putting a project together. We're going to do that, including showing you how to upload and clean up an image. We're going to do that as well as using images in Design Space. But the main thing that I wanted to cover, what I think a lot of people don't realize, is you are not limited to just paper with your print and cut. There are so many mediums out there on the market that you can use. You can print, yes, if you have a wide format printer. I have an Epson 7720. I think the 7710 is just a single tray version of it. I have two printable trays, one for larger. I use one for my regular copy paper and one for my larger printing and things like that, but it also has a rear feed. That is extremely important, and I'm going to explain that here in just a moment as to why that's extremely important. Yes, you can use any printer that's inkjet. You can use a laser printer, but you're going to be limited on materials that you can use. Okay? But the rear feed is going to accept more materials, okay? Some of your materials are going to be thin and they'll feed through just like regular paper, no problem. But when you get these little $20 printers, more than likely they're not going to have a rear feed, and your paper is going to go in and come up and go around the rollers as it prints, and then it's going to spit out. And there's nothing wrong with that if you're doing copy paper. Okay, or if you're doing photo paper or anything thin like that, not an issue. But when you get into some of the thicker materials that I'm going to show you, it's a problem. Your printer will likely jam. It is not print and cut. It's not Design Space. It is the printer. Okay, so you have to make sure whatever printer you get, especially if it does not have a rear feed, that it will accept thicker materials like cover cardstock. That is very important. So look in the specs when you're looking at a printer and look for those thicker materials like cover cardstock. If it will accept them, chances are it will accept most of the materials. But if it doesn't, then the material is simply just too thick for your printer. Okay? You have the 7700, and because you can do 100-pound paper in that. I've done 110. I've done poster board. You will be amazed at some of the things that I'm going to show you that I have actually put into my printer. Okay, copy paper. Copy paper is important, and I always say before you cut your materials, print one out on copy paper and cut it. Make sure that your print and cut is laid out correctly and it's not cutting it up and chopping out all your letters or chopping out the eyeballs of your animals or your people, because if it is, it isn't flattened properly, and we're going to cover that. But you want to always do a test run on copy paper, because copy paper, we get these big packs for $3-4. So always test cut. It's just a little bit of extra ink. You don't have to cut it on best quality when you're doing your copy paper test. You just want to make sure that everything's cutting properly, especially if you're new. If you're experienced, then you can probably get away from that. Now, down below in this video, I am going to cover the links to every material that I'm showing you, except copy paper, okay? Yes, I've done watercolor paper too, Marianne. It's just, the limits are only in your mind. I mean, there are ways to get around. I've even done wax paper, believe it or not. But, so, when it comes to sticker paper, there are different qualities. Now, it depends on what you're doing. Now, if I'm doing a planner, I get these 8.5 by 11 sheets of copy paper. There is a link down below. I will grab a link here for you guys too. Here it is. Now I can only do this once because I am removing the links off of my list because I do have them down below. The full sheet labels, there's the link to this if it opens, but if not, it's down below. These are 8.5 by 11 sheets. I think it's like $10.99 for 100. And I just use these just like I would regular copy centers, for cards, for all sorts of things like that. But it's just basic. It's thin. It'll go through your machine and you shouldn't have a problem. And again, you get 100 sheets for like $10.99 off Amazon. And I've left you that link. So that's one thing that you can use. I'm not going to skip around. Well, I am going to kind of skip around. Another thing that you can use is brochure paper. Now, if you're doing a lot of the chip bags and stuff where you need, you want to print something out and you print it like a label or whatever, or a candy bar, these are great for candy bars because it's nice and glossy. It's a little thick. I've left that, but this is called brochure paper, and it's just like a thick copy paper, but it's glossy, okay? And they make this for inkjet. They also make it for laser, okay? So they are different. You want to pay attention to whatever type you're purchasing. So make sure that you check those out. I can also show you these on screen, guys, if you want. Let's see. Let's pop over to the monitor. There is your 8.5 by 11. Yes, it's $10.99. Now, if you want to go and do more than that, if you're doing tons, you can get it in bulk. So, I mean, very good prices. I just opted for the 100 sheets. I don't need more than that. So, it's very, very easy to get there. The next one is the brochure paper. Where did I put that? There it is. Oh, it's not going to open in the... We're going to come over to this one, but it's not opening in the same window. Here's your brochure paper. And again, you want to make sure when you're purchasing this, and it is a little more expensive, but it is coated. You can print on both sides of it. You get 50 sheets. And it's going to cost you just a little bit more, but it's heavyweight like I just showed you. And it makes great little candy bar wrappers where you can wrap them for kids' birthday parties and stuff like that. Also chip bags, if you're a supporter, we have a PDF for that. Because to make your chip bag work properly, you can use this, but you have to print it out of Word and you can't use your design space for it, but you can still use that material, okay? So that one is another one. Let me get you guys the link for that. That's the brochure paper. Yeah, you can tell what Jamie's telling you right there. If you hold it at an angle, you'll see the sheens on your papers. So that covers the brochure paper. And I think 2 weeks ago that we covered vellum, where I showed you guys how to make the lantern. And we printed on vellum. I don't have any vellum here, but I do have some right here that you guys can take a look at. We have vellum right here. 50 sheets. Now you can get this at Hobby Lobby and Michael's and things like that. You can also get it in 12 by 12s, okay? But this is the link to the 8.5 by 11. It's 36 pound, and you can get it in colors as well. There's even another link on there. If you search vellum, color vellum, there's one that sends you like a sample pack of several different kinds or different colors. But I print on this, and you can print on it. It's easy to use with laser and inkjet, okay? So this one works for both. There's no special coating or anything on this. It's just a vellum. Like I said, I buy the 12 by 12 as well from Hobby Lobby and I print on it. It just takes a little longer to dry, okay? So there is your vellum. You can print and cut on vellum. Can you make a sticker out of these? Yes, you can. If you have your Creative Station, your sticker makers, you can run your pieces through there after you cut them and make them into stickers. Scrapbook.com also carries a roll, and it comes in different various sizes where you can put your cardstock or whatever on it. And now I'm going to suggest, if you use these sticky items, that you do your print and cut. If you're going to run it through your sticker maker, you run it through there. But if you're going to use the thicker one from scrapbook.com that you put on your cardstock, I'm going to suggest you print first, put the sticky on the back of your cardstock after, and then cut, because you don't want to run that thickness through your printer because it can jam. That stuff with its backing can be pretty thick. Yes, Pat, that's the one I use. That's the one I researched. I try to watch the pennies and pinch them as best I can for you guys. But that was the best deal that I found, was 100 sheets for $10.99. I mean, you can do the 50 for $7.99, but for $3, you may as well go for 100. Yes, the vellum is the pretty clear paper that is used in wedding invites and in cards. I like to print my sentiment on it sometimes, like if I use a patterned background where my sentiment won't stand out well. This is perfect for that. Print on it, do your print and cut on it, and then just tack it down on the inside of your cards. So, like I said, you can make stickers out of it. Next, don't know that I have any here, guys, but tracing paper. You can print and cut on tracing paper. You just need to make sure that it is right here, a pad for ink, pencils and markers, because there are different types of tracing papers. But yes, you can make stickers out of these. You can do print and cuts for cards. You can do tons of things with these. You can use them for your pencils and markers. I know a lot of you are Dreaming Tree fans. We have a link down below, I believe, for Dreaming Tree. They have like a lamp and some lanterns and stuff where you can color them with your alcohol markers, or you can do your print and cut on them instead of coloring them with alcohol markers, and then you can use them in those projects in your lanterns and stuff. And the little Tiffany lamp, I think the Tiffany lamp may be SVG cuts. Should have a link down below for that too. Yeah, we can't get the Cricut vellum anymore, Louise, but you can get the colors. You can get 12 by 12. You can get patterned. If you check with your local Hobby Lobby, Michaels, things like that. Now, I don't know what you guys have in Canada, but here they do have patterned. I have purchased the patterned vellum as well. Or you can, like I said, you can buy the clears and print your own, and tracing paper will work in lieu of, should you need that. So, two options for your clears there. All right, and next we have, and I have a sample down here below too. We have your photo papers. When you're doing scrapbook layouts and things like that, you want to make a sticker. How about using your photo paper so that your photos really jump out, and then you can run it through your sticker machines. You can put your sticky backs on it. Several things that you can do with those. Okay, so photo papers work as well. That's just your basic photo papers, guys. Comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets. High gloss. Get it in matte. All sorts of finishes. So if you're doing scrapbooking, or you want something that looks, maybe you want to do some clip art, but you want it to look like more like a photo. Just little tricks that you can do to trick the eye when you're making your cards or your boxes. This is a good option. Then we have, I'm going to skip over this one for a moment. To do stickers, I've seen it Lots and lots and lots and lots. I have some more down here. I thought I was organized. Not as organized as I thought I was. These are supposed to be stacked together. Okay. When it comes to making stickers, just to make stickers for cars, for planners, for whatever. When you're doing planners and anything that doesn't need to be waterproof, I should say, that full sheet label is perfect. But what happens if you need it to be waterproof, smudge proof, oil proof, things like that? Because we know what happens to our inkjet when it gets wet. If you printed on a piece of paper and ever sat your drink down and it left a water ring on it, you know what happened to your ink, okay? It destroyed it. I get this at Brilliant Vinyl. And again, there's a link down below, and I'll give you those links in just a minute. I'm probably going to post all these links together. There's a slight difference. When you go to that page, you're going to see a matte inkjet printable, permanent adhesive vinyl. This is the vinyl, and the heading is in blue. Then you have these two that are black. Right now, they are out of stock. It is a popular product. It is a great product, and I have a video showing you how to use this. One is gloss, one is matte, but the difference is they are UV laminate. Dust, dirt, things like that don't stick to this stuff. It's easy to clean. So I've saw people asking about doing bumper stickers and things like that. This is what you want to use for that. It does have its place. You can use it on cups and things like that, your planners. You can use it on, I think we used it on some Father Day items last year where we did jars and stuff. There are tons of uses for this, but it can get a little pricey if you're doing planner stickers. You may not want to go this route, okay? But this is what you need if it's going to be outdoors for sure, okay? It's going to be in the sun a lot, things like that, because even if you put clear 651 vinyl, which I have suggested in the past, that's perfect for indoors and not as pricey. But if you use it over a bumper sticker, that ink is going to fade so fast. I mean, so fast. It's not going to hold up. You need the UV if you're using outdoors, okay? But we do have a video showing you how to use that. Then you have your printable sticker papers from Cricut, okay? And this is super thick. If you have one of those inexpensive $20 printers and this has to go around a roller, I mean, I am trying to bend this without putting a crease in it, and it's really tough. It's going to jam. Trust me, I bought a $20 printer just to test it, and it jammed every single time. I put it in my Epson in a rear feed, printed, no problem. Okay, so printers do matter. Okay, but this is just your white printable sticker paper. Cricut also has a clear printable. We have 2 packs to do. Now this one should work fine in your regular printer. Okay, you see how much easier it is to bend. This will go around the rollers, and it's very thin and it shouldn't jam. It has a different type backing on it. Your Cricut paper and your sticker on that other one is pretty thick. It's a heavy-duty sticker. And it's excellent for cards and things like that, or even planners. Gives it that little raised embossed look. I love them for that. But when you can't get that in there, or you need it to be clear around the edges, or a clear sticker for whatever reason, this Cricut, I love it. I've used it several times. And right now it's on sale, guys. For 40% off, and that's before you even get to the Cricut, your group discounts. So let me pull up those. I also want to show you while I'm on this one another little trick. So if you're printing, oh, that's the wrong one. Oops, wrong one. Let's see, where is it? That's not it. There it is. Okay, here we go, right here. Let me transfer over. Remember I said you could put like clear 651 over the top of it if it had to be indoors? Royal Elements sells the clear laminating sheets. You do not need a laminator for this. It is so that you can do stickers. It's one-sided adhesive. Okay, I have not used this, so I cannot tell you how to use it. I just found it. And you may want to take and look into that. Okay, so I'm going to post both of those right here. That is the first link is the Royal Elements that you see here, and the second one is your Starcraft that I just showed you with the matte and the gloss UV. And then you have the Royal Elements here. Now, Brilliant sells the Starcraft. I don't know if Starcraft makes a clear. I know that Oracle does make a clear 651. And to me, the clear 651 is more cost effective than this is. Okay? So those are options to waterproof your stickers should you need to. Let me get rid of that since I covered that. There's one more that I want to show you guys right here. They do make a label that is waterproof. Where did it go? Well, let me see if I can get that. There we go. This one is called Crinkly's Waterproof. It's for essential oils, for anything that needs to be waterproofed. I have not tried this. I have not tried it. I plan to try it. I have not ordered it yet. It's $14.99 and you get 5 sheets. So, and there may be one that's a little less expensive in there, but you're basically going to get that same thing as a full sheet label with your 651 over it, except you're going to, it's like I said, that is more cost effective than this. I see a lot of people posting these in the group, but yes, these are smudge proof and oil resistant. That doesn't mean they're proof. They do repel liquids. It resists smudges and discoloration, but it doesn't say how much it resists. I've seen 2 different things in the group where they said that they loved it, worked fine, and one said that they weren't thrilled with it. So I have not ordered it. I don't know that I'm going to order it. You know, it's going to depend. Like this, they're claiming that theirs won't fade as badly. The cheaper brands will. If you want to try this, you're welcome to, but I've given you plenty of options where you don't have to go this pricey with it. But this is an option. Oops. Did it not transfer? There we go. Oh. There it goes. It did it twice. There we go. So here it is right here. I haven't moved off this screen, just telling you guys what it was, but it's called the Crinkly Waterproof. It's for essential oils, things like that. So if it were to get wet, if it's going to hold up to oil, it's going to hold up to water most likely. So you could try it again. I don't know that I'm going to try this. To me, it's just too pricey for what it is. I would go with the Brilliant Vinyl and the UV laminate, or either go with my full sheet sticker with 651 over it. Just my personal preference. But I am going to give you the link for this in case you want to try it. Totally up to you guys, but it is an option. The next one, we're going to cover water slides. I know that that's something that a lot of you are screaming about. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you the link for that. Those are your water slides right there that I'm about to show you. And here are your printables from Cricut, because I think I forgot to give you those. Those are your Cricut printables right there. So water slides. I've tried both brands. I like them both. Now, I have tried the clear in the Rolorius. Okay, I think that's how it's pronounced. And I gave you that link. And I've tried the Royal Elements in the white. I like them both. They're both water slide. So if I like the white, I'm pretty sure I'll like the clear. If I like the clear, I'm pretty sure I'll like the white. That's the only difference. So from brand to brand, I'm saying that both of them will be fine. However, I have only tried the white in this and the clear in this. Okay? And it was just due to pricing. Okay? Only reason was pricing. Period. You'll want to use clear, transparent water slide when you're going to put it on a light background. Okay? Just like iron-on and just like your printable iron-ons. Your light or your clear for your light colored backgrounds and your white for your dark backgrounds. You use the Royal Elements in both, Jamie. Yeah. I use, and Sue uses the Rolorius. So they can tell you, you know, they say that they've used them in both. So I only bought them this way so I could test both brands and the clear and the white. So, and cost. So, get 20 sheets in each one of them. Fun to use. I have videos on water slides, but it's an excellent printable material. So don't count that out. If you're doing mugs and you're using epoxy, or you're doing Lazy Susans and you're doing epoxy, or decorative items like shadow boxes, things like that, water slide is a great alternative to vinyl or stickers for those hard items like glass and stuff. All right, this is Tim Holtz. I was telling you about the denim back paper a while ago. This is a Tim Holtz brand of that. Guys, I've put this in my printer, and I've printed on it and turned it into stickers. So yes, you can. I have just printed on it and used it as a panel. So there's tons of things, tons of options. If your printer will accept this, then you're good to go. So like I said, I have printed on it. As a matter of fact, I don't know, some of you have seen my kitchen sign. I posted it in the group many times, where I printed a rooster on the canvas type. Turned out beautifully. So don't count out fabrics when you're doing print and cut. Now, if it's just a fabric, not a paperback, you may need to paper line it before you do that. Okay? Just so that you have some substance to go into that printer. And then we have Transparencies. Transparencies can be printable. I've got a sticker there. They can be printable, and they can be non-printable. They can be for screen print. Okay? You have to be very careful. This one is very pricey. You get 6 sheets. Correct me, I think it's like $10 at Hobby Lobby, but you can use a 40% off coupon on it when it's not on sale. So, but it's still, for 6 sheets, it's pricey, okay? Then you have 3M. Now, when I bought this one, I don't think they know what they had. I got this 50 sheets for $10. It is now $52, okay? But I found you guys an alternative. And I'm gonna give you all of those, and these are your printable transparencies right here. You have a transparency that's clear for your inkjet. You have one, the second link there that I just posted to you is for laser. It makes a difference. You cannot use the transparency film that's for inkjet and laser, I don't believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but I don't know if it will melt. I don't know what the deal is. It may be the difference in coatings. And then the third one there is one that is for like a writable write-on. So if you're using vinyl, or you're putting vinyl on it, or you just need something clear for a window, that's the one you want to use, because you get like 50 sheets for $8 or $10, and it's not as pricey. I can go over and show those to you guys real quick. Let me get you on monitor 2 as I pull those up. Here is the one for your inkjet, and you get 50 sheets. Oops, I keep clicking on my picture over here. I don't mean to. 50 sheets for $30. Now, if you get the 3M, just like the one I just showed you, I checked the price on it. They have one left, and it's $52. So it's gone up since I bought it, but I've been using mine for years. The next one is your laser. This one is for your laser printer right here. Okay? And what I want you guys to be careful of, I'll go ahead and show you the other one. So if you're shopping and you're looking for these and trying to beat the price, this one is just a clear write-on. You can use this for your windows and stuff, for putting vinyl on to do your floating ornaments, but this one is not printable. You could write on it, but it's not a printable. Okay, that's what I thought. The one, it can warp and melt in your laser. So make sure that if you're inkjet, you're buying inkjet. If you're laser, you're buying laser. And then again, these are just your basics for everything else except printing. And I just wanted to throw that in there because I knew that people were going to start doing ornaments and they would ask. So I wanted you guys to have it. But when you're searching and trying to beat the prices, what you really need to be aware of, guys, like this. These are 13 by 9, 100 sheets, $54. Now that's just one of them. Let me... When you're looking at these, you need to be very careful, because these that say waterproof, those are for screen printing, and they are not clear transparency. They are for screen printing, like right here. 8.5 by 11, 50 sheets, $16.89. Sounds like a great price. But if you read the fine print, it's for silk screen printing, and it will be cloudy. It will not be crystal clear. If that doesn't bother you, you might want to try it. But if you're doing floating ornaments, it kind of defeats the purpose. Okay? So be very careful when you see these prices, and double check. Like this one here, 20 sheets, $9.80, great price. But it is for screen printing. Okay? It is not for your inkjet printers, and it will not be clear. So if you're thinking about, well, that's still a good price for putting vinyl on to do the floating ornaments, no, it's cloudy. I have some somewhere that I had for a sample. I don't know what I did with it. I couldn't find it. But it is a milky color. Okay? And then one of the last ones that I have for you guys is glitter prints. It's printable glitter paper, which we all know we can make stickers out of all of our papers. And I have a link for that as well. This is a different brand that I'm showing you, but most of your white glitters can be printed on. This one has like a greeny gold color to it. I wasn't through it. They make, this is the champagne color. They make a white as well, but your whites will turn out better than these champagne ones. This one gives it a kind of a vintage look. So when you're looking at your glitter papers and you see the light ones, then you need to be kind of careful about which ones that you're buying, because if you want it to look vintage, your silver or your champagne are good. Otherwise, you want to stick with a total white. And I'll show you what brand I found for you guys on that one. It's right here. Okay. And this is called Bright Creations, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to work just fine. You're just going to run it through your printer like you normally would, and it should do just fine. I've printed on regular glitter paper before, and it doesn't hurt a thing. Now, I have not tried it with a laser, but I have done it with inkjet. The Cricut white glitter paper worked just fine for me. So if you want that crispy image, they're really pretty. I think everybody should at least try to print something on the glitter paper. It's pretty awesome. Now, I'm going to say, you want to double check. Now, I have not checked this one. I think it will be okay. When you're buying these, you want to buy good papers. I mean, if nothing else, you can use it for panels and for cutting. So you won't be losing anything if you can't print on it. But you want to be aware that these don't shed. You don't want a lot of glitter and stuff coming off of there when you rub it. If it does, you don't want to put that in your printer. Okay? The Cricut glitter paper doesn't shed. It's just like this. You might still be able to find the Coordinations glitter prints. I just looked on Amazon. I didn't look anywhere else, but you can kind of see what it does to the photos. This is an actual piece that they printed this on. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool effect that you get out of that. But you want to make sure that you're not buying the single sheets at Hobby Lobby and Michael's and trying to put those into your printer, because you will get glitter on your print head and everything else. You don't want to do that. So I'm not going to encourage that you get one that's not a good one, okay? So if you do try this one here, make sure that it doesn't shed before, let me get back over there. If you try this one here, make sure that it doesn't shred before you put it into that printer. Because if it shreds, you may want to even send it back or just use it for other projects. But don't put it in there if it's got a ton of stuff coming off of it. Okay? So, now that we've covered all of the vast array of materials that you could print on. How many people didn't know you could print on that many different materials with your Cricut and do something? There are just so many things. Don't limit yourself. You know, think outside the box when it comes to those materials. Okay? So, because with those materials and your print and cut, you just added a whole new section to your crafting. Totally new section. So we know that we're here in Design Space, that we can go and we can get an image, and we don't even have to do printables. We can, I'm just going to grab something, guys. Let's see. Let's grab this bunny. Is that a bunny? I guess that's a bunny. I'm going to insert. To do, instead of all these layers, is select everything and, oops, not attach. Select everything and flatten it. And then it's going to see all those layers. It made it all one layer for print and cut. Now you can print and cut that, okay? You can size it down, size it up, make it whatever size you need. But for print and cut, remember, your printable area is 6.75 by 9.25. If you get outside of that printable area, what you're going to see, if I can get it that big, here we go. I'm not quite there yet, am I? Let's see. Area, you notice that I have this caution sign. When I click it, it's going to remind me that my print area is too large. So I need to reduce that down, okay? So when I reduce it down within the parameters that it's supposed to be, then I'm good to go. Yay, Susan. Yeah, that one it is a scary looking bunny, isn't it? I think it's that Dawn of the Dead or something like that for Halloween. So you can do that. We also know that we can print backgrounds and things of that nature. Let's go over, let me pull these up. In case you guys don't know, I'm just going to pop in your link here for design bundles in case you want to go over. I did put the specific links to each project, but if you go to design bundles and you buy anything, I will earn a small commission, and I thank you guys. And on Amazon if you use those links too. So thank you very much for that, guys. But there's tons of freebies in here. And this says sublimation, but basically it's just a printable, okay? These are printables. These look like SVGs, and you can make them into printables. Okay, so there are lots of freebies in here, and here's your paper. Now your paper, you can upload it and do it as a pattern and pattern fill your shapes in Design Space and print them out that way. And I've covered that before. Or you can just download this, which I've already done, and then when it unzips, you can click on the paper you want and send it to print on 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, depending on what your printer will do, and then you can do that. Super easy, super simple. You don't even have to take it into Design Space, but then you can use that paper in a 12 by 12 sheet and cut your designs from it. So you have a lot of options when you use these images from design bundles and your other resources. And we have a ton of resources in the group resource guide in case you guys want to go through it and you don't want to do design bundles, you want to do Wonder Bear Creations or So Fancy or Creative Fabrica. We have the links for all of those. Oh, thank you, Sally. So, how do we use some of these images? Well, I've already downloaded, but when you go and you download from design bundles, you go to the free, and then you're just going to go down here and download free. Now I'm on a Mac, so mine's going to pop up here under this arrow. If you're using Google Chrome, it's going to be down here on this left hand corner, and it should unzip it for you. If it doesn't, you saved it to your desktop or go to your downloads. If it's in a zipped compressed folder, you're going to right click and extract all, and you're going to do your uploading from that extracted folder, not the zipped one. If you try to upload from your zip folder, it's going to show an error. So I have just a list of downloads here, and we're going to go through into Design Space. I'm going to move this out of the way, but we're going to show you how to use those. Now also on design bundles, if you purchase, it does not count your free ones, guys, but if you go into your account, you don't have to save all of this stuff to your hard drive or your downloads or you can just delete it. If you need it again, you can come over here and just download your files. When you click on it, anything you've purchased, not your freebies, anything you've purchased will always be in your account right here, so you can go get it again. Okay? So don't worry about losing your files. You can always come back and get it. Because sometimes like this one, I didn't take the time. I didn't upload all of these papers into my patterns. But I know if I need it, all I got to do is come over here and get the one I didn't do. Okay? Because when I did my project from that, I just downloaded the 3 papers I was going to use. So very easy to do all that. And here's your Halloween collection that was in there as well. So remember that about your design bundles. Always going to have access to your downloads, except freebies. Freebies you might want to put on a jump drive. So let's go into upload. And guys, I don't even know what's in my uploaded images. I've had so many things going on. So we're going to go to upload image, and then you're just going to drag and drop whatever file it is. Now, I had that Thankful Mama, so I'm going to bring that over, and it says it's an unsupported type. Why? Because I tried to do it from the actual folder rather than from here. So you can do the PNG or you can do the JPEG on this one, and I'm just going to grab the PNG and drop it in. And there it is, and it's already cleaned up for me. Now, if you have an SVG, your SVG is not going to show you this step. You don't need it. It's already layered out and it's done. And you can flatten it to make it it's not really going to make it a PNG, but you'll flatten it for a print cut, which is what this PNG is. But we're just going to say complex because we don't want to go simple. If you go simple, it's not going to do anything much to this one, but you can, yeah, it's not going to do anything to this one because it's already a PNG. But if it was a JPEG, it will mess it up. So I always just select complex. And then we're going to insert it or clean it up. So if you have anything that you need to clean up, this is where you're going to do it. You're going to clean it up in here. I'm going to minimize that. So anything that you wanted to take out, you would take out, such as color. If you wanted to get rid of this color for whatever reason, you can go in and get rid of that color. I'm just going to go back. I don't want to do that. Complex, continue. I could have hit the undo, but I didn't. Undo is up here at the top. So there we are. We're just going to hit continue. And this is where you're going to name and tag it. This is your only chance to do that. As of now, they haven't changed it. But you can see the one on the right as a cut image looks kind of funky, and the one on the left looks pretty good. Okay? You can always change a print and cut to a cut to get that on the right. But if you save it like it is on the right, you cannot revert it back. Some of them, once you've done it in the canvas, you can revert it back to the original artwork, but I don't think you can if you save it as a cut. So you're going to save as a print and cut, and you're going to name it. And I'm just going to say this is a freebie from Design Bundles. It's a pumpkin. I'm going to put pumpkin in here. And I am just going to save it. Name and tag the way that you search. So if you would search that by 3 pumpkins, then that's the way you want to save it. And then it can take a moment for your PNGs to save because they are large. I think it's really pretty. And I'm going to show you how you can use this. This one may not work well. I've got a couple of images. So there it is. We're going to select it and we're going to insert it. Okay? And you can see it's coming in at 23 inches, and we're just going to take that down so that we can see it. Okay. So now we have our image, and it's set for print and cut, and we don't have a triangle, so we know that it's already ready to go and it's in one layer. But you saw on that cut image how they had all those little lines on the inside. I'm just going to duplicate this, and I'm going to change it to a cut image by taking it off a print and do no fill. And you can see all of those lines? Those are cut lines, guys. Can you imagine what's going to happen if you try to cut that? Yes, it's a freebie. We got it as a freebie, but we have to fix that before you cut it. So whenever you get these freebies and stuff, you need to be looking at them and checking them before you try to cut them out of your material. That is why I said cut it on copy paper first. Is it cutting correctly? If not, you need to fix it. This one we need to fix, okay? How are we going to fix that? I changed it to a cut, and I'm going to use my contour tool, okay? If I can get it to pop up here. I'm stuck. Okay. There's more than one way. Quit. Just going to close that out. We don't need it right now. Let me open it again. So in case you guys are having that same issue. Now I will, in Cricut's defense, I did have that window open for a while. Doesn't want to quit. I can't get out of Design Space. I forgot what it is. Is it my force quit? Control, I don't know. Command escape. Trying to force quit it. I just got 51378 today. Could you delete Mama? Good question, Susan. As soon as I can get my design space to work, I will show you. Let me, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Let's, ba, 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 ba. Okay. I'm just going to go, I don't want to, it's going to make me do all that. I'm on the, this is going away, guys, but it may help me here. I can't get out of my, yeah, I tried that and it still didn't quit. Don't know why. So let's just do those steps again. I'm just going to make it 6 inches so that we know it's in its rightful spot there. And I'm going to duplicate it. I can right click and duplicate, or I can use the duplicate up here. Now we have 2. We're going to go to the print and we're going to go to no fill. And then we're going to go to our contour down here in the bottom corner. Ooh, contour is not working. Do they know there's a problem with that, Jamie? Maybe it's the image. Let me try something else, guys. Let me quit. Force quit that. Force quit that. Now force quit did work. Yay. I just don't think. I don't know. Anyway, when contour is working, you're going to go to contour. And then you're going to hide all contours. We're just going to pretend that this did work. And once it hides all contours, all of that will be gone. All of those cut lines will be out of there. You're going to change it to white. You're going to arrange and move it to the back. You're going to select both of your images, and you're going to, I think it's this file. I have to agree with you, Jamie. Then you're going to move it to the back. You're going to arrange and center them, and then you're going to select all and flatten. And what it's going to do is, there it goes. It's just really, really slow. Maybe it's the image. Maybe you're right, Jamie. Maybe it'll let me this time. I think it is actually the file, because there are a ton of cuts. And again, that's exactly why we say look at them. Change it to white, put it back there and flatten it, and then all of these places here will be filled in, guys. To answer your question on removing Mama, you will have to slice that off, because you can see right here there's no cut lines in between, so it is attached in those areas. So that you would need to slice off of there, Susan. Yeah, this one hasn't been updated in forever. The web version, I'm pretty sure it's just that it's that particular image because of all the cut lines. We're going to do another one. Let's go in and we're going to upload, and let's see. Okay, let's do this one. I am going to bring this in as an SVG. First, this is the SVG. I'm not gonna name and tag all this just for time purposes for you guys. I'm gonna save that one, but I'm also gonna bring in the PNG, and you saw that it just asked me to name and tag that. I'm going to upload again, and this time I'm going to do the PNG out of there. Okay, this is the one I just did, and now we're going to do this PNG. Okay, and we're going to select complex. I'm going to do the JPEG too, I think. And there's nothing really to clean up here, so I'm just going to hit continue. And you can see what the cut image looks like, and we're just going to save. And then I think this one had a JPEG too, so I'm going to upload, oops, upload. There we are. And there's the JPEG. Yay. Okay. So now we have a JPEG here, and you can see how this one differs and has all of that white background. This is where you're going to come in and clean that up. Now, if this was this is made well, so it's not pixelated. It's a little bit through here. What you can do is go into your advanced options if you're having a problem cleaning it up. I'm just going to show you right now with the wand. I've done nothing there and nothing here. I'm just cleaning up these areas just by clicking on it. And then you want to clean up these areas too. If I zoom in, you can see that there's a little bit of a fuzzy edge right there. Changing this color tolerance should help when you go to clean that up and get closer on that edge and clean up more of it. So you can use that tolerance to go in there and clean that up if your image doesn't have. Now this is just a scenario in case you've gotten an image off the internet, guys, and it won't clean up well. So you'll want to use that tolerance to help get in there. And I'm just going to cancel it. I don't need that. One other that I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to try to drag this over. This is just a pumpkin that I found, and you can see it has that background in it. This is where you might run into issues cleaning these up, and where that color tolerance can help. You see where it was just doing one at a time? Did you see that? And then I changed the color tolerance and I clicked it and it took them all out. That's what that will do. That's where that will help you. Okay? I'm going to undo it just to show you. So when this was set at the default of 16 and I used my eraser and I cleaned it up, you can see it's just doing one square at a time because it has all those checks in the back. But if you come over and you use your color tolerance, you can click on it and it's going to take it all out. Now this image is kind of funky because you have those white dots right there. So it took those out too. Okay, so you either have to fix that by putting white dots back into it, or you have to use less of a color tolerance, maybe say a 50, and go in and do it. Another way to get around that is to take your eraser tool and leave it kind of small, like so, and then come around and create an area around the white area. And I'm not going to go in and make this bigger because that's a lot of work, but you would have to go in around all of those little white dots. To me, it's easier to put a circle in Design Space and weld in a circle on those and make them white at once. Okay? So that's super easy, super simple. And usually that only happens when you've got an image that has a white background and then you have white dots, or either you got a PNG that you thought was a PNG but it wasn't a PNG. Okay? Because if it's a true PNG, you'll see these purple squares back here and not these gray ones. Okay? And sometimes when you upload it, you'll see the purple ones. These will look purple, but they're really there. It's a screenshot. If you screenshot a PNG, you've got to clean up that background because it's not going to come in transparent. It's going to come in just like you screenshotted it. Okay? And so for the last thing on print and cut, because I do have print and cut videos for you guys. If you've never done print and cut before, I encourage you to watch the Learn Design Space videos. I think it's video 5 in the playlist of Learning Design Space. If you need that video, ask. We'll get it to you. But print and cut is so super easy and simple. You just need to make sure that you are setting it up properly. So if I wanted to print and cut on green paper, just going to get some shapes here. Let's go get an image. What can we get? What's featured this week? Okay, good. This one. That may already be a print and cut though. I'm going to grab it just in case. Or this one. So I'm going to insert those. And let's say for whatever reason I wanted to, yay, they're like that. These are cut images and you can see the grid back there. That's exactly how that's going to cut. I'm going to duplicate it. If I, oh, it's not going to let me. Maybe they fixed some of that. If you can see the grid back there and you have flattened this for a print and cut, that's the way it's going to cut. The grid is negative space and negative space is going to come out of there. This one's not going to let me do it, but maybe this one will. Maybe our pumpkin that we got will. I'm just having all sorts of problems with my contour and print and cut and everything. Maybe the new update fixed all of this and I wasn't aware. I'm just going to hide a couple of contours and see if that helps. No? Okay. Let me undo, 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 undo. More than one way. Duplicate. I'm going to select both, line, center. Now there's my flatten. Maybe I'm just lagging. Okay, so now I flatten it. If I flatten it that way, you see all of those grid lines back there? That's exactly how it's going to cut, and that will be a beautiful cut, okay, for this image. But this one, if I were to contour, no. That's what it is. I only have one layer. Okay, let me duplicate it. So if I get these and I align them and I center them and then I try to flatten them and I flatten it. Looks beautiful, but I can see that grid back there. My lettering, nothing's going to stay as one. So really, why would I do that? I may as well just leave it as a cut if I'm going to do that and then place all of those letters. Or this is really meant to be for vinyl so that you can transfer it all at once. But if I were doing it on paper, then I could just cut it out of cardstock and glue them all on. But if I wanted to do it and I wanted it to be a print and cut for a card, I need to come in and I need to contour that and hide all contours after I've duplicated it. Then I can change this to white. If I'm printing on a colored cardstock, I want that to be white. Now, if I want it to have a color background, I need to give it that color background. So if I wanted it to be yellow for whatever reason, then I'm going to make that yellow, okay? And then I'm going to align them center. And you can see in my layers panel right here, I'm just going to delete that, don't need that. The two are together, but I've got this to cut and print, and we know that the background is missing back there. See it? And then I have my solid shape because I hid all the contours. Now I can flatten those two together. And now you can see it's all in one layer. It is going to print it in that shape all by itself, and it is not going to cut anything but this outside shape. It will not cut the letters and the dots and this line. It will not cut it like it was set up to cut vinyl because I flattened it to a shape. When you're doing print and cut, it has to be flattened to a shape or it will not print and cut properly. It will cut in pieces. Okay? And that's what we were talking about with that other pumpkin. I need to get my pumpkin back. Let's go back and get our pumpkin. So if I wanted to do, he's not connected, so he won't work. So if I wanted to do this on a green background for whatever reason, now I can flatten it to a shape. I can flatten it to a square and have it just cut that square. But I need to make sure that this is the color I want. If you're cutting it from an orange cardstock, your cardstock needs to be orange, and you're going to make your background shape white. White doesn't print. I can't stress that enough. This one here, we can see the grid back there, and this will be beautiful if you want to add some shadow layers to it in Escal and make one of those 3D mandalas out of this. This is a perfect one for doing that. This is great for cutting from the joy if you wanted to make a joy card and make it smaller. There are several things that you can do with this. So I want to duplicate, and I'm going to come over and contour, and I am going to hide all contours on that. And it's in there, guys. It's just taking it a second to load. So I want to make sure that I hide all the contours. You can show all contours, hide all contours. What that means is it's taking away cut lines. And you can take away all the inside cut lines, or you can take away all of the outside cut lines. But you cannot take away both because that's just deleting it. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to show all contours and get that back. And then I'm just going to take that one away. So if I take away the outside cut line, I'm left with this. And if I take away the inside, I'm left with this. Okay? See the difference? And that's all I did is I removed the outside cut line on one. I removed the inside cut lines on the other. Okay? So now if I want to do this in two different ways, because I'm going to show you guys a little neat little trick you may not have seen before. Let me duplicate this and save one. So let's say that I'm cutting this out of black paper, but I'm going to place it on orange. But I don't have any orange paper, so I'm going to make mine orange so that it prints orange. I'm going to arrange and send that to the back so that this is on top. And we're going to, I'm going to need that again, duplicate. Then we're going to select them both, and we're going to flatten. Now that is going to, and I've got a little bit of edge. I didn't get them good and centered. But you're going to put all of that in there, and now when it prints, it's going to print it just like this and just cut the outside. Okay? How cool is that? So you changed it from just a vinyl image or a mandala image into a print and cut solid image. But what if I wanted maybe, because now I'm not going to sit here and do this, but you can change the color of all of these flowers and that pumpkin and the leaves and make this a multicolor thing. You have to duplicate it for each one that you want to do, each color. And let's say I'm going to go with green here on one, and I'm just going to do one as red. Okay. So I can come in here, and now I want to contour and let it pull up. And now I'm going to hide all, let me hide all contours. Hiding all contours is sometimes easier. I'm just going to come back and get these pieces, and then I'll hide that again. Whatever piece didn't come in there. I need that piece. Need that piece. Oops. Those are right. I'm missing the wrong piece. There. My mouse is off. It might be part of that. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. I'm just going to leave it like that for now. So now I can bring this in here, and then I can bring that red in there. But you can go in anywhere that it's disconnected. You can go in and get those shapes and make them whatever color you want. This is connected right here, so I would probably slice it so that I could get these other two. This image may not do it, but you can see where I'm going with it. Now I can align all of these into place. Then I'm going to select those, and I'm going to flatten. And now I have a totally different image. So you can color your images when they're like that if you have an outline. It's called like a coloring page. If you have coloring pages, you can go in and you can contour and you can get colors and color each section. You can color each one of these flower petals separate because you can see there's a black line surrounding it. Then you can contour everything out except these petals, and you can change it. And you can make a nice elaborate drawing from these color book pages. Okay? That's what I call them. When it's just a black outline like that, it's a color book page. Can you go back and get yours back? Yes, you can. You can go back and show all contours and get your original image back. So, yes, you can duplicate, contour, and flatten more than once. Now, if you go in and you slice something off of it, it may not contour back because you've changed the image at that point, if that makes sense. I should have been able to get just that. I think my mouse was just missing it because all of these are lined out solid. So I should be able to do that whole pumpkin in a color, each one of these flowers in a color, and these leaves in a color. You just have to go in and play with them and use those contours and make sure you're contouring out the right pieces. Did that make sense to everybody? So then once you've done all of that and you've got it like you want it, I'm just going to go back to the simple image right there. So I'm going to get rid of everything else. I don't need those. And we're just going to go over and look at what you do when you print and cut. Let me get rid of all of these. We don't need to see. Now, when you see this as white, when you've got a white background, when you go over to print and cut, I'm going to duplicate it and change one, as a matter of fact. You're going to see the difference. I'm going to go back and flatten that. It's going to look a little weird to you. It's going to look like it's not there, but it is, especially if you've got a white edge. It may not look like it's there, but it is. You just won't see it when you get over to the printing stage. You have to print and cut here, and you will see this is on a bounding box. This is your registration. Your Cricut is going to read that, and that's what enables your Cricut to know that you are printing and cutting and where it has to cut. If it can't read these lines, then it won't cut, okay? Your material matters. If you cut this out on copy paper like I suggested, and then you go and you cut it on, say, the printable vinyl with the glossy laminate, and then it won't cut properly, it won't read your registration marks. There's a simple, easy trick. And I meant to print one out and I forgot to print, but I will show you guys. You can go over and you can put a piece of Scotch tape over your registration marks in the areas where it reads, like right here on your mat. Cover it and make it a matte color, and it should read it just fine. I haven't had any problem with mine reading it. I don't know if it's the lighting in the room, the actual sensor on the machine. There are several factors, but whenever it won't read your registration mark and you have used best print quality, whenever you're printing on these on the glitter paper, you may need to put a piece of tape over that line so that it dulls it out and that's not reflecting any glitter. The same thing with anything glossy. Okay, you're just going to make your registration box mark. You don't want to get it on your image, but just over your registration. It reads here, 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 and here, I believe. I think it might read here too. But you can watch it and you'll know where it reads on your copy paper. Just put a piece of tape over that. What to do next, you're going to hit continue once you have it laid out. Now, if you want to do multiple copies, you're going to apply them right here. And it's going to get 2 on there, 2 on there. And then you're going to hit continue. Once you're here, guys, you want to send it to the printer, okay? If you do not have a printer, you can still do print and cut. What I'm going to suggest is if you're going to do 4 copies like I have there, I'm just going to say yes, I'm going to cancel. I'm going to suggest that you duplicate them in, I don't normally say that, but I'm going to suggest that you duplicate the 2 and you select them, align them however you want, and attach. Now, put in a square. If you have a ton of print and cut images that you're doing, put in a square, make your square the size of print and cut, 6.75 by 9.25. Okay, now you have that square in there that's the size of the print and cut area. Put as many of your print and cut, especially when you're using expensive materials, you may only need one of these, okay? But what if you might have something later on that you might want to use for print and cut? Go ahead and insert those images, put them in this area, align it, lay it all out, like so. And we know that that's not going to fit. Well, maybe it is. It's going to be close. But get them all like you want it, and then get rid of this square and select all and attach. Okay? And now you can see that they're all attached, and that this is correct. Each one of the flattens are all on their own, so you're going to have more layers. And then click your Make It. Make sure you save your project so that if you print somewhere else, you know you can come back and you can get it, and it's going to be in the exact. Detach those just so I can show you the next step. So we're going to hit Make It. We've got all of our print and cuts. We've got them in an area, and we're going to do it somewhere else because we don't have a printer. So how do you do that? You're going to go to your Office Max, your Office Depot, wherever it is that you're going to print, your local library. You're going to take your material with you. And I'm going to encourage that you print one on copy paper there as well for your testing, one or two. And then print the ones that you need on your material. And I'm going to say print an extra because you never know, especially if you don't have a printer. So you're going to send it to the printer. When you're at these places, you're just going to go on your phone or your iPad or whatever mobile device you have, and you're going to log into your Cricut Design Space, and you're going to send it to their printer. That's all. That's the only difference from printing there and printing at home. You're just going to bring the material back home and cut it on your Maker or your Explore machine. But you can print somewhere else. And in that case, if you do that, you're going to say that you've already printed. It's gone, but it was over here. It's going to say, I've already printed. You're just going to click on that and then go to this step. You're going to skip over this and go straight to cutting. You want to leave your bleed on unless you're printing on clear material. If you're printing on transparencies, clear sticker papers, any of those, you want to turn the bleed off. If you're printing on white-based materials or color-based materials, you want to leave that on. That's going to keep you from having a white edge around parts of your thing. If it's off just a little bit when it's cutting, you don't want a white edge over here and none around the rest of it. That's not going to look good. So make sure you leave that bleed on. Always check your system dialog. Click that and turn it on and click Print. What does the system dialog do? That's a box, and it's going to pop up behind the window, okay? I'm just going to slide it over. It usually pops up behind. And what you're going to do is go in and check your media and quality. If I'm doing this on thick paper, I'm going to tell it. Now, everybody's is going to be different. It's going to depend on your printer and what your printer properties have. But I use my rear tray for 99% of my print and cut, okay? And then I'm going to tell it if I'm doing heavyweight paper, matte paper, gloss paper. If I'm doing the Cricut sticker paper, I'm selecting heavyweight paper. But you want to select whatever is closest to the material that you're using, okay? And then you want to use best print quality. You don't want to have your two-sided or anything like that on. And then you're going to select print. And I'm just going to print on copy paper just to show you guys what I meant about the Scotch tape. And because I told it rear feed, I have to put a piece of paper in the rear feed. I forgot to change it back. I was going to. So now it's going to print. And then we're going to go over to the overhead, and I'm going to show you. Your Epson does not have the heavyweight paper listed. Okay, Paula, that means that your machine may not have it. Does yours have a rear feed? Does it have a cover weight? I'm just doing this again just to see. Pick whatever is closest to whatever you're doing. In that case, I would say if you're doing cardstock, maybe a photo mat paper. Photo paper is pretty thick. What is your Epson? What type Epson do you have, Paula? What's your model? Okay, if it has a rear feed, I'm going to say maybe select either color paper or actually, if you don't have that heavyweight paper, I'm going to say go with a photo mat. Yours is a 7700. It's probably not a wide format. Maybe that's why. That might be the difference. But yeah, just pick something thicker, a thicker material. But if it's glossy, you want to do photo gloss. And if it's matte, like a cardstock, you want to do photo matte. Okay? Because that has to do with how much ink it puts out. Okay? I can't remember. One of them doesn't put out as much ink. I think the matte gives more ink and the glossy is less. That might be it. Didn't we have to do something for that, Jamie, on that? So let's go back to the overhead. And here it is where I printed it out. And you see the registration. Now, if I had printed this or put some clear 651 over this now to make it waterproof, and then I'm going to cut it because if you're going to do something like that and it won't read the registration marks, I'm getting an error. I'm going to take some of this Scotch tape because it's matte, and I'm just going to place it over my registration. And if it goes over the side of your paper, just stick it to the back. Not going to hurt anything. But I'm just going to go and place a small piece right over the registration box where it's shiny on that glossy paper in all of those areas. And then it should read it without any problem. Okay? So you can do that. Just make sure your pieces are big enough to read in the areas where the sensor is going to cut. Because tape is inexpensive, okay? And then you can put it on your mat and cut it, and it should cut perfectly fine. Does anybody have any questions while we cut this so that you guys can see? We're just going to place it right on. So if you printed this somewhere else and you brought it home, all you got to do now is put it on your mat, put it in your Cricut, and cut it. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go over and show that to you guys as well. Okay, so I've taken it somewhere else and I printed it. So I'm going to hit already printed, and I'm just going to load it. Load my mat. I've already printed that. Oh, I forgot to select my device. I didn't have it on. So I've already printed. I selected that I've already printed it. I'm going to select my base material, copy paper. I'm going to use default pressure, and we're just going to hit go. And that's all there is to print and cut, guys. Most of it's going to come from materials, and that's why I wanted to cover that with you guys first. Print and cut is the same no matter what your application. It's all the same. The difference is going to come in your choice of materials. almost cut. So does anybody have any other questions? Anything that we didn't cover that you guys had been asking in the group and everything? Anything at all? As always, if you have forgotten, then you can just let me know in the group and we can go from there. So then after you've done it, you actually should peel your, see how that curled? Because I peeled it off the mat. If you don't want yours to curl, you want to peel your mat from your paper instead of your paper from your mat. Okay? I'll pull this one. See how this one curled? See how this one is? That's the difference. Everybody thinks it doesn't matter. It matters. Okay? So always peel your mat from your material and not your material from your mat. Of course, this is copy paper, so we can do it. But you can see how I left my bleed on, so I have a nice black border all the way around. Oops. I forgot to go over there. Dang it, it didn't do. Okay. So it cut, and I'm just going to peel these and put them back. Aha. Let's do it again. Peel your material from, this is the one that I pulled off first, instead of, let me do it this. Peel the material from the mat instead of the mat, instead of the paper from the mat, and it will make a difference. I peeled this straight up off the mat instead of the other way around, and you can see how it curled. It makes a difference. This one I peeled straight off the mat. This one I did twice, but I peeled the mat from the material on this one. You can see. Makes a difference. It won't curl as bad. But you can see that there's no white edge because I left my bleed on so that it looks funky and it looks blurry, and black is hard to tell when you're doing it, but if you've got a color and it looks all blurry on the edge, don't worry, it's going to cut that off. And that's why I said if you're printing on clear, turn the bleed off, because if it is off slightly, that blur will be left on the clear and it will show. All right, all the links for all the materials, guys, and that's just the start. That's a good start because there are so many materials out there on the market that are good for print and cut, and don't let it limit you as to what you can do, because you can print and cut for cups, for cards, for shirts, for bags, tons of things that you can use your print and cut on. I know a lot of you are getting into sublimation. I too am seriously considering. So if you're into sublimation and that kind of thing, and infusible inks and all of that, print and cut is going to be one of your best friends. So get out there and play with it and practice. I know this video was long, but the shorter version is in the Learn Design Space videos. This was mostly about the kinds of materials you can use and how to set it up, and what you can do with contour to change some of those printables. You're looking for a good quality heat transfer, Debbie. I use Starcraft printable, sold at Brilliant Vinyl. I use their vinyl adhesive and their iron-on adhesive for that. Starcraft, it has very vibrant colors, and I'm just going to say, I did a shirt. A lot of you have seen that shirt. I posted it up a lot because it showed such bright, brilliant colors. I intentionally abused that shirt for 1.5 years. It took it 1.5 years, 18 months, to show signs of fading, and I bleached it 3 times a week, and bleaching is not recommended. So StarCraft, when it comes to printable iron-on, StarCraft has me for the average crafter. Now for sublimation is different, screen print is different, but for the average iron-on, myself, I haven't found anything that I like better than StarCraft. So if you're going to do those printables. Now I will say that the StarCraft printables, the one for lights, turns out more like a screen print, and it's very soft and pliable. It's not plasticky like your other iron-ons. The one for darks is. You mirror the lights, you don't mirror the dark, but you need a transfer paper. All right. Control plus Q for what, Debbie? Or D. D. Greenwald. Control Q. Yeah, Brilliant Vinyl is who I recommend, and the StarCraft. I don't know if Expressions Vinyl, that's another good place, but I don't know if they have the StarCraft. I know they have a printable, and I'm pretty sure it's probably StarCraft, but it doesn't have the StarCraft name printed on the back of it. But Expression Vinyl has their own label too, so. But I'm sure they will stand behind theirs as well. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. I want to say thank you to all of my moderators. You guys are awesome. I greatly appreciate you each and every day. Thank you for stepping up and helping me out the last forever. And thank you to all my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters and my YouTube channel memberships. Greatly appreciate you guys. Again, I did give a file for my supporters tonight. It's up on the site. If you are not a supporter, there are links down below for Patreon. If you subscribe annually, you will save 10%. So any of you that are on monthly and want to go to annually, you need to do that before the next month's charge. So I don't know how they've got it set up. I don't know if you can just click over or if you have to cancel and then resubscribe. Totally up to you guys. But I do thank all of you and thank everybody for watching. I will catch you on next Monday. And we're going to do a project next Monday. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching.